to go back to the basics, you're an influencer and you're like, how can I be authentic again? Or you're an artist or whatever. Find your why and share your story. Relate to people. Whether that's in a carousel post where you're just posting about your day in photo form.
Yeah.
Just picking up on your phone. You're like, hey guys, I'm having a rough day. Or I'm having a great day, walking my dog, just chilling. Like, connect with your audience. Don't promote to them. Don't try to be a billboard. Try to connect and build relationship. This is really an intimacy issue. Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with connecting and building relationship. And that's something we lack tremendously. I'm not even talking about social media. I'm talking about person to person.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Creative Mind. I am your host, Byron Craig, and on today's episode, it's all about social media. We have in the building, he is the founder, CEO, and the lead digital strategist for his own brand, The Creative Halo, that just released their AI on December 1st. He is worked at NASA, so, he was an oceanographer. Talk about two totally different worlds. He was a photographer who's shot the likes of Jonathan McReynolds, Kanye West while he was loving on Jesus back doing Sunday services. And he's put together through social media and through his branding some of the most successful tours for gospel artists in the most recent years. Talking about the reunion tour, One Hallelujah, and the reunion tour part 2. Guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my good friend and my brother, Keon Gibson.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. I'm super excited to dive in, man.
Dude, I'm appreciative that you're here. I say it to everybody, but I do really, truly appreciate you being here because today we're talking about social media and we're just talking about your journey, man. Let's just dive right into the mind of it. Like, yes, bro, how do you go from, first and foremost, from Jackson State University to NASA, being an oceanographer, bro?
Yeah, man. So the Jackson story, I ended up going to Jackson State because my mom made me go. I did not want to go to college. That was not my plan. I actually had a 2.5 GPA in high school.
Okay.
And so from there, my focus wasn't college at all. I didn't know how to study all the things. And so she was like, you either leaving the house or you going to college. So I'm like, I'll go to college. So at the time I was like a well-known drummer. Like this is like worldwide too. I was in a couple of like viral videos on YouTube by the age of 18, couple of endorsement deals, like killing the drums. Right. So I'm like, that's all I want to do. Forget college, forget everything. And so from there, she was like, no, you need a plan B. And she was like, just look at what's available. So I saw Jackson State. They have the Sonic Boom in the South. It's linked with the drums and drumline, all that type of stuff. So in order to, go to school, you need to find out what you want to major in and all that type of stuff. And so I'm like, I like weather. And so it was a HBCU, had a good band, and it had a meteorology program, which is weather. And so from there, I went. And what was crazy was I remember when I applied, I needed like a 18 for their ACT score, and I only had a 15. But they still took a chance on me. So I'm like, okay, guys, we just gonna roll with the punches and learn how to study maybe. And I did not have a plan. I didn't have a plan at all. So from there, long story short, learn how to study. Ended up getting like a 3.5 GPA my first semester, and nice. It just kept getting better and better and better from there. And so it led me up to a scholarship, and that scholarship paid for my full tuition, all the things. Like it was like this grand package and a guaranteed a job offer after I graduated, which was at NASA. Wow. And so went to go work for NASA for a few years. And so that's how the college change of events, like happened kind of overnight, but it's like a 4-year journey. But for me, it was like, man, I didn't know I could study. I didn't know I was going to change my career path to now being like a full-fledged scientist now. You
Yeah.
know, it was amazing.
Man, what made you interested in weather? Because that's that's
Yeah,
one of
man.
them that's one of them career paths where you're just like, weather?
Yeah, yeah. Ever since I was a kid, man, I always remembered looking out of my grandmother's like balcony, or yeah, balcony, and seeing like thunder and all that type of stuff. They had this big backyard, and I remember like seeing like thunder and all this type of stuff, and I'm
Mm,
like, man, this is super dope. Like, and even in school, I used to bring like weather books for show and tell all the time,
love it.
and I'm like, you was a nerd before there was you even knew you was a nerd. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
it never left. And that's something I tell people all the time is when you don't find your why, go back to your childhood. Your
Mm,
childhood will basically tell you everything you need to know about yourself. The pain, the hurt, the success, the dreams, the gifts, and literally everything I was doing as a scientist, I was already doing as a kid. I was showing people hurricanes. I was showing people tornadoes and all this type of stuff in the fourth grade. But I
dang.
had no idea the science behind it. But all
Yeah.
I knew, it looked fun, and it was something that was out of our control. So I think that's why I'm like, yeah, let's reach towards the sky.
Yeah.
So
But then you went to the sky, but then you went oceanography down to the earth, the depths
yeah,
below. Bro,
yeah,
you black, bro, so I don't know.
man. It was a my NASA journey was it was completed. Let's say that. As a scientist for sure, it was cool, man. But I definitely found it was during my transition season of me finding my why and
Okay.
actually going after it, and God pushing me to go into like entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So from there, man, it was just a journey of learning. I got a chance to meet a lot of great people in the government sector. Got a lot of like certificates and clearances and all those like I'm literally learning about and seeing all of these things that's like, wait, you need a code to go through this door because it's like top secret, and
Yeah.
like it's just so many things that's so cool. And so I just really thank God that he allowed me to, experience that, because I take a lot of my government approach and I apply it to how I do like creativity and entrepreneurship. And I think that's what has made me like, definitely different when it comes to like being a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? You like what? I mean, obviously, you'd have to probably work in the government to understand like some of the stuff. But like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you use the government know-how to bring it to the
Yeah.
creative?
So most of the time, and this can be a long conversation, but it's more so like the structure,
Mm.
how they organize things, how they were on top of things, how they had policies. I think that's the takeaway for me, is like the policies. There
Okay.
was a policy for every single thing that you did, and there were boundaries. And so for me, coming into the creative space, there were no boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
There were no policies. So I'm like, y'all have no structure. Social media marketing is still new. Social media is still quote unquote just now being taken seriously now. And it's like people don't know how to organize this stuff. People don't know how to execute it and just stay consistent. Like, let's go. And so I think that had a huge part to do with like that's one of my like gifts is like administration, but also like applying that government side made the perfect
Mm.
creative entrepreneur.
Got it. I like
Hmm.
it. You right though. There's no
Yeah, man.
structure whatsoever out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that in a lot of places, and it bothers me. But one of my things is I say to other people, I'm like, this ain't my thing. This ain't my business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't fix it. I love
Yeah.
to, but I can't. Yeah, well, what do you do? So like, take me back to. Are you from Mississippi originally?
I'm not from Mississippi. I'm from Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson is from.
Oh,
Mhm.
good Gary, Indiana boy. You're one of the
Yeah.
few people from Indiana I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, bro. There's not many people.
You'd be surprised. We all here. We all
Bro,
here,
I'm
man.
telling you, like Indiana, Idaho, Connecticut. I've only met one person from Connecticut. That was Will Davis. Like, cause
Wow.
he was born from there. Who else? What? There's some other North Dakota, South Dakota, obscure states. I've only ever met maybe one, two
So
people.
you consider Indiana as like a Nebraska, Idaho type of state?
I mean, like, what all's there? Like, besides
So,
Gary, besides Indianapolis?
but next to Gary is Chicago.
Okay, Okay.
So when I make that connection for people, they're like, ah, I have been there. I have heard about it. Gary is like, depending on where you're coming from, like 30, 45 minutes from Chicago.
Okay.
So anything that we ever wanted, we go to the city. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. So y'all have
Chicago
like
Bulls games, everything.
so
Yeah.
y'all have like small town city vibes, but you're like so basically like suburb of Chicago, but in a whole other state.
I wouldn't call it a suburb. It's very ghetto, very all the things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being honest. Like, it's one of those cities that I have a huge heart for.
Yeah.
Because it's just seen as a negative, abandoned place.
Really?
So for me to be who I am, to come out of it, and for people to, push and try everything that they can to survive and push themselves to be better, I think Gary, Indiana is just full of hope, but that hope has to come with work too.
Mm.
So it's like, hey, y'all have the faith, y'all have the hope. Let's put in the work to actually make this city better.
Yeah.
To even if you need to move, like that's okay too. Like and I think it's just the people in the heart that I'm talking about, because it just seemed as like a negative, abandoned town, and that's how people think about the people who are from there too.
Really? Like
Hmm.
really? Mm. That's different. I've heard about small towns that have off like Youngstown, Ohio, kind of the same way. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're familiar with Youngstown, but Youngstown gives off those kind of vibes, but I've never heard that about Gary in particular. You don't really ever hear much about Gary.
You're the first person who hasn't, man.
Dude, I mean, I
That's
know what it
crazy.
is. I mean, I'm no ignorant person. I know what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is,
yeah,
but I'm saying
yeah,
like when you live in like a country like Texas, you don't,
yeah. I
anything
get it.
outside of it, you're like,
Yeah, I get it, man.
this. But
Texas
hey,
is very different for sure, though.
I bet. Oh, I could only imagine.
But I
We
love it
love,
here.
huh?
Said, but I love it though.
Oh, of course, that's home. That's hometown. You still have family there?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My
Oh,
mom
okay.
is. We're
See,
going up there for Christmas, so
oh, nice. See,
yeah,
there you go.
all the things.
I love it. So drummer. That's how I know you. I know you as drummer extraordinaire. I didn't mention that in the intro, and I'm sorry I didn't. But dude, I know you as drummer extraordinaire, and you just do all these other amazing things. Like, where did that love of music come from?
Man, it came from God. That was my first initial gift for the world and gift to God. I literally started playing the drums at 2 years old.
Wow.
And literally by the age of 7, I'm playing at my church, like for the adult choir. And
Wow.
like from there, like I remember it's like age 9, I'm playing for like this orchestra. And all during that timeline while I'm a kid, I'm actually playing with this high school band that my grandfather was assistant principal at. And they're like teaching me how to play, like holding the snare drum. Like this is real life, like drum line. But
Yeah.
here's this little kid doing the same thing that high schools are doing too. So it was just like a child prodigy. Like this kid is like super dope type of vibe. And
Yeah.
so yeah, man, it's crazy to believe that for 26 years I've been playing the drums and I'm only 28.
Dang.
But when people see me on the drums, they like, dude, you got a lot of drum language to you. It's
Yeah.
not just like a beat. It's like dynamics and different techniques and different things. I just pop out and everybody like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. So yeah, man.
What was it like going viral for just doing something that you love, man?
Yeah, it was super dope, man. My mentor at the time, he gathered some very talented drummers that were like myself. Grew up in the Chicagoland area and very phenomenal drummers. And so we all gathered together. We did like what they call a drum shed.
Mm-hmm.
We did it in his basement. He recorded it. He puts it on YouTube, and the first one I think it got over like 1 million views with like in
Wow.
a couple of months. And
Jeez.
so we have like all of this, feedback and all of this stuff, and different companies are reaching out to most of us asking for like endorsement, like can we partner with them and be like brand ambassadors and do endorsement deals and stuff like that. And then we end up doing a live drum clinic, and it that was recorded and put on YouTube, and that did really well too. So that is what put me on the map, like globally, is like this is Keon Gibson.
Yeah.
But for me it was like, God, this isn't who I am though. I still feel like something is missing. And so here we are today, 28 years old. That was literally 10 years ago. And I'm still in that place of like the cup is still empty.
Really?
The cup is definitely still empty.
What do
Not
you
empty, but it's like halfway full.
what do you think is missing? Like what do you feel?
It's not nothing that is missing. I've done everything that I was supposed to be a part of, and I did it successfully, and I've learned all the things. However, I think it's just time, and
Okay.
you just have that feeling like this isn't the best yet. This
Mm.
isn't the best of the creative Halo yet. This is the best version of Keon Gibson yet.
Yeah.
All the things. That's just how I think. I don't care what I was a part of. I'm like, this is good, but I believe there was a reason why I experienced this early before my prime. I'm not even in my prime yet,
Yeah.
you know. And even the Lord, when He confirms, certain things to me, He's like, no, this ain't it. Like, don't get comfortable. There's something more coming. I'm like, got it, noted.
Love that, man. That's amazing. Like the fact that you are just so that in tune to know you're on the right side of 30. And so like you have, dude, I'm talking 50, 60, 70 years to be able to
Yeah,
continue to do what you got to do. Like, dude, I could see you playing drums till you're like 90, just up there, just smacking.
man, that's the goal. That's the goal, man.
I love it, man. Hey, I am all for it. Also, you don't look 28. You you know, I, I was gonna say you look like you're 24, but
Oh man, that's great,
bro, black don't crack.
man. I'm glad to hear. Because listen, knocking on 30, I'm like, all right, here we go.
Dog,
But
let me tell you, in your 30s, it's not that bad. I'm cracking almost 40. I don't look like it.
you
Somebody
don't.
told me the other day I look like I was 26. I was like,
No, seriously, you look like you are 28.
see, I will take that. I'm
Yeah.
37, but
Wow. Wow.
we pushing 40. But hey, we here. So, all right. After NASA, you do all of this crazy, amazing stuff. Like, dog, how do you transition into photography? Like, where did that? Because I mean, obviously, going from
Mhm.
something that's very structured in, is like something government. It's all structured. It's very rigorous. Like you said, there's a lot of boundaries. There's a lot of there's a lot of I keep saying the word structure, but that's what it is.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then
Policy.
you, huh?
Policy.
There you go. Policy and boundaries, and then you move into something that's a lot more free and open, and like photography. There's no rules. I mean, there's
There's no.
rules. You make it take a good photo, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I love about being a creative is I get to break the rules. That's one of my favorite things when I'm helping companies out or when I'm helping people out. One of my evil plans. I have this like inside joke where I'm like, I got it now.
yeah,
But it's just strategizing. I learn people. I learn the systems. I learn what they don't have, so I can build it.
mm,
If there's a template for video editing, whatever,
mm-hmm.
I want to know how can I break it and make it
Mm,
my own. So it's not just good enough for me just to use what other people have done and just come in and say, okay, you can copy and paste me. Absolutely not. Because what you're getting is not going to work for the person who did it before. It's
yeah,
going to be completely different. And I'm going to push the narrative to try to break it and do something completely that's not normal. And so I think when I work with people, they're like, dude, you bring so much to the table. It's kind of like almost overwhelming, and sometimes it doesn't intimidate people, and sometimes it's very collaborative. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? And so over the years, I've had to like learn how to balance that out, those types of things. But creativity has just been always something that's been there since I was a kid.
Of
I
course,
used to run around with a camcorder and use up all of my mom's like small DVD players to record stuff, and record just random stuff. And my mentor at the time, he was doing a wedding. He was like, "Hey, can you help me do come around and like be a helping hand?"
yeah,
And so I went to go help him. I'm like, I actually like this. It's pretty cool. And this is like during my summer while I was in college. And so I went back to school, went to a pawn shop, just got a little camera, started taking photos of just random stuff,
yeah.
everything. And my friend was like, "Hey, can you take some graduation photos of me?" And people were like, "Yo, your eye is like you got something. And
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, I'm just having fun. Like it ain't nothing. And then I started like doing these things called like real tunes to where I used to like draw cartoons of people and stuff. So now I'm not even knowing I'm preparing myself for Photoshop.
Mm.
And for photos, I'm preparing myself for like Lightroom
Mm-hmm.
and videos, Premiere Pro. And all of this stuff is like slowly building me up, building me up, building me up, building me up. And it's been certain key people along my journey to say, hey, you need to go from iMovie to Final Cut Pro. You need to go from Final Cut Pro to Premiere Pro. And it was just like an evolving thing. And I'm one of those people who's like, I don't need to jump on Premiere Pro if I'm not confident with video editing at all.
For
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? Like, let me use iMovie to understand the basics, understand how to trim it, crop it, all the things. Then let me graduate because that graduation is my own self reward. Like, I love to see myself grow and develop and look back and say, yeah, I was that guy using that. I
Yeah.
was using that template. But for me, it's like, dude, we've grown. We've grown so much. And so I try to just tell people all the time, use what you have. You know, if you don't have a Blackmagic camera, you don't have a Canon, use your phone. You don't have video software and computers, use your phone.
Yeah.
The apps on our phone are very, very high level, especially with like Instagram and TikTok. They integrate video editing within the software. So I'm like, use what you already have and then build off of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
What do you think about? You kind of alluded to it. Use what you have. What do you think about? I've noticed a common theme out of all the episodes we've done. I've noticed a common theme that a lot of people start off early 2000s, 90s with camcorders and like editing and doing things on like really old analog things. Do you feel that like children going forward, I mean, that stuff doesn't really exist, and if someone does use it, they do it for vintage or nostalgic purposes?
Right, right.
Do you think that a phone can accomplish the same level of creativity? Because back in the day, I mean, you know best, we would have to record over and over and over again over tape. And it was like you only get one shot and you can only take that one tape, that one moment on the tape, and then like that's perfect. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you can do that on a phone, but it's not the same.
Absolutely. I think phones have watered down the authentic side of just showing up and letting it be one take.
Mm,
And I remember the days of a camcorder. It was just, hey, let me throw this in the corner, press record, and hope for the best. I
yeah.
have no idea what the footage is going to look like. There was a video of me dancing, the same example. I threw it in the corner, press record. All you can see is half of my body. But me being a creative, if an artist wants to do something like that, I'm like, no, let's keep that.
Yeah.
Let's do something with that. Let's make it sideways and throw some like lyric videos on there. Let's make a funny, caption, video or reel out of it, all those types of things. But now it's like I can record anything and delete it real fast and just redo it over and over and over again and get it perfect. You're not even so by the time you've gotten it perfect, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even good.
Yeah.
It's not even authentic. It's super polished and it's not relatable at all. And people can feel that. That's why people can't really connect with people because they don't even know how to just be authentic.
Do you think that's the problem with social media today, that people go around, and that's why it maybe feels so inauthentic, is because people are actually just doing everything to perfection, not to goodness. Because like obviously, if you read the Bible, God, when He made the earth, it was good. It wasn't perfect. It was good. But everybody does everything nowadays to perfection. Whether you're on a set,
Yeah,
whether you're an influencer or just a TikToker, everything has to be like perfect.
perfect. Yeah, man. I'm not a fan of perfect because there's no room to grow. There's no room for conversation. Again, it's that to me, it's that copy and paste model. Let's be perfect like everybody else. Let's try to be pristine and polished. And honestly, nobody really, or I would say there's a small percentage of people that authentically just want to be themselves
Mm,
and push the narrative. And the perfect person, when I think of this, is Kanye West. He's a person that's always like, I just want to be me. I just want to do this. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look super crazy, and I don't care what you think. There is nobody like Kanye. You know what I'm saying? And so, in that same breath, is like, what about you? There's nobody like you. God has made you fearfully and wonderfully made,
Yep.
and you are uniquely designed. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody like you. And in that same breath, is like we try to compare ourselves to other people. We look on timelines and be like, man, if they could do that, I could do it too. It's like, erase that. Just show up, because what you could be bringing to the table can have the potential to go viral, because all viral moments started with one person initially doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
the reason it went viral is because people are copying and pasting it, and now it's a trend, all those things, right?
Yeah.
And so my point is, just be authentic. If you show up and be yourself, your gift will make room for you.
Mm. I like that. That's really good. I think, and I do agree with you that I think the virality of social media has kind of killed creativity, because now everybody's like, I need the likes, I need the this, and I need the
Man.
that. And that's not necessarily a great thing. I mean, like, what's the very demure girl? Like that was super authentic. That was just
Super authentic.
that was just them being them.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, so that I can be honest, and I've mentioned this before. I don't like social media just because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
can be a
a
lot.
it's it's not a point like I actually care about it. It's like
Mhm.
I just don't like algorithm. Like, you have to get in the algorithm. You have to be in the, and it's like, why? Like, I just don't understand. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Explain. I mean, explain it for me.
Yeah, man. And unless I'm dealing with a client that cares about the algorithm and the likes and all of that, because now we're talking return of investment, and
Mm-hmm.
now using that algorithm and analytics for like ads and click funnels, all those things. Now there's a strategy and business side. However, for the just personal brands and people who can just want to show up and just have fun, man, just don't care about the likes. But what people forget is that Instagram, Facebook, all of these platforms aren't showing you to everybody that follows you. They not showing you to everybody that you think is being seen to. Like, people don't see your stuff just naturally off rip. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And if people engage with it, cool. It's going to do its thing with the algorithm. That's great. However, you already got a foot in the hole just
Mm-hmm.
posting on these platforms alone. And mentally, you like, dang, this not working. This isn't working. I don't have this likes and this like. That video is amazing. All your content is great. It's nothing wrong with you. It has everything to do with the system and the strategy that these social media platforms has built around us to try to contain us, to try to monopolize off of us. For example, every single post that you see on your profile literally has the word boost this post, because they want you to put money in their ecosystem, because they have a business that they need to run too. And what they expect you to do is put money behind it, so then you can be available to all of the people that follow you. And it's like,
Wow.
wait a minute, why would I put money behind just for people to authentically want to support me?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Now, if I wanted to expand my audience and go after a different target audience that that doesn't know about me or doesn't support me yet, fine, I'll put some money behind it. But if the people are here organically, please let them see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I noticed something like that in the episodes in the clips that I've posted on the Instagram. That's the only place I really post. The stuff that I've posted, the very first episode did really well. That was Jason Talley, a good friend. All his stuff, because he, like, I guess invited the collaboration, tagged it, all the good stuff, blew up. Next couple, not great engagement, and it's not for lack of trying. The clips are amazing.
Yeah.
It's just nobody saw them, and I don't know if it's because of the content or what was said in them, or because, like, one of them was talking about meeting Dave Chappelle and in El Paso, Texas.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Again, this is why I don't understand social media. How is it a few videos can get a few like 5,000, 10,000 views, and then the next one get like 50
or 15.
10? Yeah, something crazy.
You can, man, the people that I've worked with over these last couple of years, I've seen just crazy margins like that.
Really?
We'll be on tour, we'll be at the Grammys or whatever. It doesn't matter. One video could be super amazing, and the next video is like as if we hadn't did anything in the world, like nothing at all. Like
Yeah.
all the awards, everything is out the window, and it's like, and if you aren't securing yourself, if you don't know your why, and if you're not looking at the numbers and paying attention to just what these social media platforms are doing, that will get to your mental space. Like that will get to you.
Yeah.
And then now you're like feeling insecure. You're not feeling enough. You don't want to do content now. You quote unquote want to take a break. You want to isolate yourself from social media. When people talk like that, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking from. And I see through you.
They want the
You know what I'm
views.
saying? And so, man, what? And so like when I talk to that issue, they're like, man, that's it. Like I just there's something that's happening right now that I just can't, can't get along, can't get into.
Do you think that that's a problem for a majority of the people, that that we care more about numbers and likes because likes and numbers equate to brand deals, sponsorship? The more likes we have on a post, the more followers in turn, corporately that's how that would work. You get more likes, people that engage with your content, you click follow after you enjoy their content. So that more followers means bigger brand deals, bigger sponsorships, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera.
Yep. Yeah, 1000%. I think there's a business behind it. A lot of people have been able to strategize their platform to get to monetize it, to get likes, and to get money for likes and all those types of things. And so that comes with brand partnerships, that comes with endorsements, brand advertisement, like all that type of stuff. And it works for the content creator or the influencer, because all you have to do is just show up and post content. Now it does get to the point where it's like, now you're not authentic anymore. You're doing everything for $1.
Yeah.
And we can see that clearly. You're only here to promote, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I see enough when I'm driving on the highway. Thank you.
Fair enough.
I don't need another billboard in my timeline. So if you want to be a billboard in my timeline, let's go ahead and just exit off of this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see you.
But then where do you get the feeling of authenticity? Because if you go, like, for somebody out there, they've probably gone down this influencer lane, and now they're coming and they're like, I feel inauthentic. How do you revitalize yourself, your quote brand, to be more authentic? It's not a commonplace thing that you do.
Yeah, I think if you want to go back to the basics, you're an influencer and you're like, how can I be authentic again? Or you're an artist or whatever. Find your why and share your story. Relate to people. Whether that's in a carousel post where you're just posting about your day in photo form.
Yeah.
Just picking up on your phone. You're like, hey guys, I'm having a rough day, or I'm having a great day, walking my dog, just chilling. Like, connect with your audience. Don't promote to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to be a billboard. Try to connect and build relationship.
Yeah.
This is really an intimacy issue. Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with connecting and building relationship. And that's something we lack tremendously. I'm not even talking about social media. I'm talking about person to person.
Yeah.
So then we want to take that on social media and try to build relationship and connect with our followers. Bye. You're lying.
Yeah.
Because that's not what social media is about.
No. You bring up a really interesting point. Everybody, we all know we lack intimacy as a people. We get further and further. We get more detached from reality. I would have loved to do this podcast in person, but
Yes.
we get so detached away from interacting person to person that we move person to person to a screen And while
Yep.
for this what we're doing here, it's amazing.
Hmm.
There's something more personal about it being where we're
Absolutely.
sitting in the same room looking at each other and then just vibing off of each other.
Yes. Yes.
That's not a thing. But for someone whose job, for someone whose life it is to create content, to be able to, and I think that's why people hate Kim Kardashian, because she feels inauthentic, but then she peppers in every now and again moments of vulnerability. And it's like,
Yes.
girl, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly would say I like that. I like
Really?
that she kind of has that balance a little bit.
Okay.
Now, sometimes it can be over the top. I will agree. But it's that balance.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is my family. Hey, I'm just trying to figure this thing out. Hey, I'm in school, y'all.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I do got this brand partnership. I do got this business. I
Mm-hmm.
am gonna pull up, and y'all gonna know what brand this is. But there's also like the mom side,
Yeah.
the daughter side, the divorce side of her, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And it's like that's very dope to see. You know what I'm saying? And so I hope that people can take that and find balance within themselves of like, how can I do that my own way though? Not
Yeah.
like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. I mean, I think that whole family does a really good job of balancing uh brand partnerships and then family life. Kylie Jenner does, I guess, a really interesting job of it. I find her I
Mhm.
like, I like Kylie Jenner, but also
Yeah.
like her reality stuff. It's like, girl, now you ain't putting on your makeup like that. You got a whole
Yeah.
team. Why don't
Right, 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 right.
now I feel lied to.
You're right.
That's
Yeah.
that part. But
Yeah.
hey, what do you do? What do you do?
You, man.
So I mean, like, so tell me more. Tell everybody about the Creative Halo. Like, how'd you started? Like, where did it come from? What's the inspiration behind it?
Yeah. I think I've always known I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Again, as a little kid, I went to this summer camp called Youth About Business. What kid goes to business
I
camp?
love it.
Who does this? But Keon does it.
There you
So
go.
when he became older, he started to lean into again the photography thing and just recording content. That's all I knew. Went on my first tour, and I'm like, this is great. This is dope. And from there, there was always just this need from there's something missing here though. And I saw this guy online, took his course about social media marketing. Like that's all that he would talk about. And I took his course, and I'm like, whoa, I can do this for restaurants. I can do this for automotive dealership, like
Yeah.
companies. I can do this for corporations and businesses. Like, forget music. I'm going after like the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I need to kind of structure this differently. So in the beginning, it was the Gibson image,
Okay.
right? It was Gibson image, and it was just, hey, we just gonna come create the content, and that's it.
Okay.
Then it like, man, I don't even know how the Creative Halo name came up. It had to have something to do with like my close friends at the time for sure, because I would bounce ideas off of people. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't Chat GPT. You ask people and you get the information, right?
Yeah.
AI before the AI, people,
People. Hey,
and
realness.
realness. And so from there, the Creative Halo began to evolve into like, hey, I just don't want to create the content. I actually want to take over the content.
Mm.
So we're coming in once a quarter or once every 6 months or whatever. We'll record the content, we'll edit it, we'll manage it, we'll do all the things. And then the pandemic actually was in the midst of all of that. So
Mm.
everything was going online. So everybody's like, social media, I need this, I need that. So I'm like, ooh, let's go record the content with our mask on. Let's edit it. Let's keep it. Let's maintain it. But also let's post it for them.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about it. One of the things that allowed me to really excel with my business is the fact that I used to really push the narrative of we will take over the social media so you don't have to worry about it. And I used to make this pain point of you already have the business, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and you expect to do your business online too? That's doing your business times two, and you're already burnt out. You're tired, you're stressed, you're frustrated, and your social media isn't up and running. You're not even connecting with your audience online. So let us come in. Let's take over your social media. We're actually going to start with making content. So this Friday or for an hour or whatever, let's do the content for an hour. We'll create it. We'll structure it. We'll do all the things. We'll manage it. We'll come up with a plan and present it to you. If it's great, we'll post it. Now you're online, but also you're in person, but you're only focused on what's going on in person.
I like that.
Creative Halo.
Hey, I like it. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I'm going to just ask you, because the Creative Halo just put out its own AI, which is, I mean, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously you have to be, in order to do that, you have to be really big, really into this AI thing.
I love it.
Really?
I love AI so much. I tell people all the time, there's Keon Gibson and there's Keon AI. There are so many things that I use AI for in my literally every single day. I probably use AI probably about 5 times a day throughout my whole 24 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
It can be anything. I'm talking to AI. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about Siri. I actually have Siri deactivated on my phone. Let's start there. So I use Chat GPT voice recognition. And I'm talking to him because I'm training the AI, because I want it to know more information about what I do. So when I'm getting emails or I'm getting text messages, I don't want to respond to anything. I copy and paste stuff. I say, hey, respond to it as me. It does it instantly. I send it back. Thank you. Doing content calendars, all the things, like I'm using it and training it to literally be a Keon Gibson AI. I'm not using it to be this, it's just his assistant. No, I actually want something to take over so it can be just as impactful as me. Now, granted, it's not full of the Holy Spirit. It doesn't have this nice smile. But at the same time, it has a little bit of wisdom and knowledge, and it understands a little bit of what Keon Gibson may want to say, may want to do, may want to create. And that's why we're going to dive into that. And we're going to open up the real Keon's time so he can rest with his family, spend more time with God. But also Keon Gibson is an innovator. He's the person he has the title and he has the bullet points. That's it. And he's always doing that. I have the title and the bullet points, But where's the details come in? Keon Gibson AI.
Oh, okay. So you would be the perfect person to ask this, because, I mean, what you just said.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about AI versus creativity? Because you're using it as a form of, I guess, not replication of yourself, but you're using it to do the monotonous task that you don't want to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So what happens to your personal Keon Gibson, not AI, Keon Gibson's independent thoughts now that you're putting all of that onus on something else?
I love this so much. Can I show you, but I can tell you?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Without using AI, no computers. We're going old school. 1 second.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first.
The first. Let's go there. Let's
do it, bro. I'm so down.
This isn't working. Hold on. Sorry about the noise. And this is an extreme mess.
It sounds like we got a whiteboard.
We do have a little mini whiteboard.
Woo! For all you audio listeners.
I need something to clean this real quick. All right.
Who knew we were going to get a live demonstration here?
All right, you guys.
Professor Gibson, teach us.
So what's crazy is everybody can now see that I'm just naturally a nerd. Like, this is just who I am by nature, right? When I think about AI, I try to tell people, like, hey, I want you to just have an idea. So if you have the idea, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be about a dog. It can be about a color. It can be about, hey, I just have this idea for Mother's Day. I don't care. If you have an AI platform, I want you to throw that into AI. Thank you. Did you do it? Thank you. Cool. You throw it into AI, and I want you to just ask AI a question about your idea. It can be about, hey, can you create some reels? What are some reels I can create? What is a business strategy that I can do? What is an email that I can send to my boss about this idea? what are some dates? What are some challenges? What is a good timeline based off of this idea according to 2024? You have the election coming up. Where does this idea fit in the election? You can get so specific with these questions and it will literally spit out whatever you ask it. So for the sake of social media, I'm going to ask the idea. I'm going to ask AI about my idea and say, hey, what are some content ideas I can do, about this podcast, right? It's going to spit out, reels, which is, of course, videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give me like photo ideas, but also it's probably going to give me like either document for like blogs and stuff like that, or
Sure.
probably even like graphics, right? And so that alone is probably going to give you like 3 of each just to start. But what I like to do next is, cool, you've given me the template. Now let me copy and paste it. Let me just focus on videos now. So now, going back to the idea, going through AI, but let's just focus on videos. Let me re-ask the question. Hey, AI, let's just focus on this topic just with videos. Now give me 10. It's literally going to list out 10.
Okay.
You copy and paste that and you build that, put it into AI and say, hey, let's convert these videos into photos. What's some ideas you have? Give me 10. Gives you 10. Same thing for all of these. You can literally type in and say, hey, what's some documented graphics that are now, in alignment with these photos and videos is going to give you exactly that. And by the time you're done, you have what? 30 pieces of content, 10, 10, 10, 30 days worth of content. And if you continue to dive into that and build off of that, you now got 90 pieces, 100 pieces of content. Now all you have to do is just execute it. You can even get more specific with your videos and ask for scripts. Ask for, hey, I got 3 people talking. I got this artist, this artist, this artist, and what should they say, and have a documentary idea. You can do so much with it. And I don't want to backtrack. If you have a PDF, you should be throwing your PDF into AI because it's going to literally use the information off the PDF to build content off of for your social media. So that's how you use AI without AI, with no computer. It literally just starts from an idea into AI, and the AI produces the content that you need.
Wow.
So
we just got a school lesson for Professor Gibson here.
So yeah, that's how my brain works. So when I'm sitting on meetings or when I'm wherever, I'm like, my brain is calculating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how can this work? Okay, great. Okay, good. And then it has the business side already established because again, I come from the business world. I have that youth about business kind of corporate structure from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now it's like the creativity of like, I see a lot of missing gaps, but I can feel it though.
See, okay. So what I was saying, you're doing it. You're using still independent logic and independent reasoning while someone's speaking. You're not solely relying on AI. You use it as a tool.
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of people use, now that Chat GPT is integrated within all Apple products, or can be integrated within Apple products, that can now be and replace Siri as your default, search engine or default assistant. So because of that, your monotonous everyday task and ask is going to be so much more, you're going to start losing, at least to me. If you're not somebody like you who has independent thought while doing and asking AI, you'll slowly just become like these people from WALL-E, like the fat overlords, and you're just like, okay, guys, let me do this.
Yeah. I love that. I love that movie WALL-E so much. It is the perfect representation of what AI will be. AI is literally, or should be, a resource. It shouldn't be a source.
Yeah.
The problem with that movie was they depended on robots, AI so much that they lost their bone density, they lost their health, they lost everything of just who they thought they were. You know what I'm saying? And they just became these objects at this point. They're not even human. So when things started getting turned off, deactivating all the things, they're like, oh my gosh, wait, you're a person. Yeah, I'm a person. Oh my gosh, you actually exist. Oh wait, we used to walk. Like, bruh, use social media as a resource, not a source. There, in the same movie, there were reasons why the pilots were using AI as a serving mechanism to say, hey, do this, do that. Cool, I can control it. I know about the books, all of that. And they were leaders in the movie. They weren't the objects. They weren't the people on vacation for thousands of years.
Yeah.
They were the people actually pushing the buttons and actually utilizing the robots or the AI to actually get ahead and move forward and push the technology and get to the next planet, so to speak. But what I'm saying is, like, to your point, if you only use AI as a resource, you won't have anything to bring to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, as a source, if you only use AI as a source, you won't, have anything to bring to the table.
Of course.
And so I tell people all the time, if you're a video editor, AI is coming for you. If you're a brand strategist, all you do is write captions and all of that, AI is coming for you. You better learn how to manage AI, use AI to your advantage, and learn how to break it. If you know how to break something, you will know how to put it back together. I guarantee you. And if it's going to come with failures, it's going to come with heartaches, it's going to come with frustration. But if you keep putting the pieces together, you will have the perfect puzzle piece figured out. That's the point of having broken puzzle pieces and making the perfect image.
Jeez, you dropping dimes, bro. Just dropping all this knowledge. Dude, like, what do you think as far as, so you said AI is coming for brand strategists and all these people's jobs. Like, what are your thoughts behind, like, you said it's coming from videographers. I know Chat GPT can't currently create videos. That functionality, it'll come at some point. But like, where do you think that will end up taking people and taking jobs? The creative, will there be even a need for influencers?
No, there are AI literally platforms that literally are making UCG content without people being involved at all.
You gotta explain what UCG is to people.
User generated content.
There you
sorry,
go.
Yeah, sorry. But there are platforms out there that are literally making reels, quote unquote influencers, off of images. These images are being produced and manufactured by AI. So AI is taking these images that is already making it, so now making videos that's talking like you, whatever you want to say. All you have to do is type it out and it's going to say it. It's probably going to even move or walk around or whatever, and it looks real, but it is not human at all. And what's crazy is they can do clone voice. They can clone your voice and all those things, and they have their own voice that they can use. Now you're looking at something that looks just like you.
Yep.
And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like it's never going to catch up to, us making a podcast or us talking about this. If we want to make AI to do a podcast based off of anything, we literally can right now, December 16th, 2024.
Yep. Exactly.
Literally.
See? Exactly. I remember when Adobe, it's not out, but I remember when Adobe Firefly was premiered at their Adobe thing, and they took someone saying words, and then, I mean, just a few random words, and then it just spit back an entire sentence, like paragraph in their voice. And I was like, holy hell, that's game changing. Like,
game changer. And that exists right now. I've used that on marketing rollouts. I've used that on different videos that people didn't know that I wasn't talking in that video. It's because I know how to break these AI platforms. I know how to break these different softwares and now make it so unique in itself to now you can't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I love that scenario because now the whole chess game is mine. I own checkers now. I own the chess game now. And so the Creative Halo AI is just a small introduction to where we're going next. It's definitely going to be a huge elevation of implementing AI a lot more. Now, granted, I want to build it around the creator. I don't want to totally dismiss the creator at all.
Sure.
I want creators to understand I need to know how to use AI. This is why I call it the Creative Halo AI, because the Creative Halo is already built around content creators. So, hey, content creators, please use the Creative Halo AI so you can get accustomed with learning how to use AI within your everyday content creation so that you don't get fired by AI.
How does someone access the Creative Halo AI?
They can literally go to thecreativehalo.com, click on the tab in the corner, or you scroll on the homepage all the way at the bottom, and it's right there for you to click on and try today.
Oh, so simple.
So simple.
So simple. So easy. Now, we'll come in close to landing the plane, but man, what do you think about creativity, like what are your thoughts just on creativity? Just dude, I mean, this has been a really interesting conversation. Like
Yeah, man.
I'm taking a lot from it. Where is creativity going? Like where do you see this next generation, this next push of creators, whether it's because my thing, I have a massive heart and a massive burden to help in, I mean, that's why this podcast exists, is just to talk to creatives, just to hear their story and share their creativity with,
Yeah,
you know, the masses.
yeah.
Like, where are we going with this thing?
Creativity wise,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going back to people being authentic again. This is why we're seeing the podcast rise up, you know, like it used to back in the day. But I think it's at an all time high, honestly. We want to hear people's opinions. We want to hear people's thoughts. We don't want to see all this manufactured perfect stuff.
Yeah.
We want to sit on YouTube and actually watch YouTube again. Long form content. I don't want to see no 30-second videos and no recaps and stuff no more. Like it did its purpose. It was great. However, this is something I even learned with like doing tours and stuff. Is like recaps were dope, but they weren't as effective with doing behind the scene like videos and just like song lyrics and all that type like song videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally connected people with the content more than us just showing off, hey, we did this amazing night in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's not about us, it's about the people.
Yeah.
And when you understand it's about the people, again, it builds that relationship, it builds that connection. And so that's where content creation is now shifting. Because look at TikTok. TikTok is, so great at just people setting up their phones and just showing up.
Yeah.
That's where content creation is at right now. Just put your phone up and show up. Put your camera on and show up. Get a content team and show up.
Yeah.
You have no excuses to not be producing content online to expand your business, your audience, your voice to a wide range of people all around the world. You don't know who you're going to affect. And if you're doing it for the likes, I'm sorry you're going to burn yourself out, but you should be doing it for that one person. I oftentimes love when I have only a couple of likes, only a few people liking or supporting. That's great because I know I'm making one impact in the world.
Yep.
And that one impact can now shift a whole generation. I don't know who that person is. I don't know the call that God has placed on their life. However, if I touch one person, they can touch 5, they can touch 10, whatever. My responsibility is just touching and connecting with one person.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. I think that like you said, I think the level of authenticity that we're seeing now, I mean, we saw it during the election. Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, all these long form podcasters had our president-elect on there, and he was just himself.
Just himself, man.
Same thing with JD Vance. These men were just themselves, and they won. And it's, I would have loved to see what would have happened with Kamala Harris. Like if she would have won.
Yeah. So what was crazy was that's a great example. During the election, we saw presidents literally getting as authentic as they could possibly get by getting on YouTube podcasts.
Yeah.
You had Joe Rogan with Trump. Then you had, for African Americans, you had Kamala on Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, what? Who's this on my timeline? Like, okay, cool. Whatever side you on, you're now seeing like, man, I get to see my potential president in this form of like super authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're relatable.
Mm-hmm.
They're just talking, just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Ain't no secret service and ain't no desk with an Oval Office and glass. Nah.
Yeah.
They're in front of a mic, just like you've seen all your favorite people in front of that mic.
And I think the one detriment, I don't really want to take it political. I think the one detriment for Kamala Harris was that Joe Rogan he's the biggest podcaster in the history of podcasting. And the fact that she didn't go on there and she went on Club Shay Shay. And if you watch that interview, it like they're having a good time, but they're not diving deep. You're not having it like it. I would have much rather somebody like a Tim Ross interview her where like he's just pulling her into the basement. You're like, girl, we going down here.
Yeah.
But like Trump did that. JD Vance did that on all the podcasts they were on. They were just super just like, no, I'm not a megalomaniac. No, I'm not Hitler. No,
Yeah.
none of that. But it's like, but like if she would have went on there, she could have at least resonated with a few more of the people who were voting for her.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Authenticity is key in 2025. I'm telling you, that's the move. So what else? Anything else? Like, you want to just like drop any more dimes for these people, for the good people who are listening and watching?
Yeah. I think I would say the last thing I would say is just be you. Just show up. There's nobody like you. And when you step into the room, people should feel and remember your presence. Your character has everything to do with that. Your integrity, your creativity, but most of all, your gift. The Bible is clear. Your gift will make room for you. So when you're in that room, know that your gift is already making the room. Is making the conversations happen. Is making the connections happen. There are literally spaces and places where your feet haven't even touched that your gift is already there. So be confident in who you are, knowing that God has already placed you and ordained you for this season at this time, and just be you. Work on yourself, heal yourself. So when you get that opportunity and that platform, you're not just scrambling and rushing to get ready. You already there. You there now. Go ahead and prepare for the platform now. Get the healing, get the development, learn the craft, get all the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that you need as if you already have the trophy in your hand.
I love it. Perfect way to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Keon. If the good people of the world want to support the Creative Halo, we didn't even get into your work with Maverick City and all of them. Like, before, you know what? We're going to take a detour. We're going to just pull off the street. Bro, how did this partnership and connection with Kurt Franklin and Fred Hammond and all these like legends of gospel come together?
Man, Jonathan McReynolds, that was my first tour. And on that tour, I just like met the managers and got cool with them. And I started working closely with them and ended up meeting the CEO of Maverick City. And a friend of mine was already working for him. So it was like, hey, you want to just come work with us? And it just worked out like that. And it just built on from there. But I already had my own personal relationship with like Fred Hammond and a couple of other people. So it was like to see them in that space and they saw me, they're like, oh yeah, what's up, bro? You good? What up? Yeah. Can I get this kind of? And it was just like very authentic relationships. Again, it wasn't anything that was forced or me trying to press myself to go to the studio all the time. No.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those people, if I'm not supposed to be there, I'm not going to come. So
fair enough. I like that. I will say the word would be relational equity.
Yes.
On the very first episode of this podcast, Jason Talley spoke very highly about you, saying that he respects you highly, and you utilize relational equity very well, and just you are a really amazing person to know. I can attest to that as well. You, Keon Gibson, are an amazing person to know, and I'm glad the world now gets to know you too.
Yeah, man.
On a long form content versus.
Yes.
I love it. Authentic. The only way to be in 2024, 2025, because that's when this is coming out in 2025. Yes. Let's land it. If the people want to support you and want to support the Creative Halo, how do they find you on social media? How do they hire you? How do they hire the Creative Halo?
You can either message me. My name is Keon Gibson on literally anything and everything online. Respectfully. I'm just joking.
Respectfully.
Yeah. Instagram, all the things at Keon Gibson. Also, the Creative Halo, available everywhere online. Also, thecreativehalo.com. It's simple. So, whatever route, whatever the title is, Keon Gibson, the Creative Halo, pretty sure just either put a @ or a .com at the end, and you'll find us.
Hey, I love it, bro. Yeah. I want to thank you for being here, and just sharing this depth and this breadth of knowledge with these people, with everybody, with myself. Like, it's amazing. I'm grateful that you were here. I'm grateful for you. I love you.
Love you too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, bro. That's it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.